Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Geekism Studios. Sorry it's been so long, we're going to be talking about that in a little while, but first of all, what are we doing today? We're doing some work to the front of the Kerbal ride, which is now named Kerbal Mission to Mun. A few people suggested that, so thank you very much if you were one of them. I don't know why, it just really jumped out at me and sounded good and sounded like a ride and sounded like it's the sort of thing we should have. So thank you so much for all the suggestions, there was loads and loads, they were all really, really good. What I really liked... what's the thing? The apoapsis. Periapsis. I thought that was really good as well, but I thought maybe that was a little bit too subtle because I had to even look at it for a second until I realised what it was. But that one was very good as well. But yeah, there was loads of great suggestions. But we went with a Mission to Mun. This is the creation of the sign. Nothing crazy here, this is no Mass Bandit or SP Ridley level, but we are going to try and replicate the Kerbal sign. Just can't get this rocket small enough because this isn't going to go on a backboard. The one way you could do signs quite well is to sink everything into a backboard, but I want this to be a big static sign that sits on the ground. So for that reason, we have to try and take a few sort of liberties to make it work. So the rocket here ends up being a little bit bigger than it should be. I still think it works out pretty well in the end. I'm not going to show you the whole build of this because it takes quite a while, but I do want to come in and show the technique sometimes because a lot of people do ask how custom signs are done. Like I say, you're really interested in seeing some really good custom signage, check out both SP Ridley and Mass Bandit, two good friends of mine who create amazing signs in this game. And there we go, finishing off there. So it's going to be a red colour in the end. I've just used the base colour at the moment because it's easy to see, but there you go, it goes red. And it also, the logo has this white trim around it, so I'm going to add a little bit of white trim around the Kerbal word, and then we're going to do the rest off camera and put it in place. Okay, so here we go, putting the guide in place, there we go, Mission to Mun. The Mission 2 bit changes colour in a moment because I thought it looked quite good as like grey and white, but Nicola came in and couldn't read it, so it becomes red like the Kerbal logo. And then we do a little bit of planting work here. I think this needs a few plants in it to kind of but nothing crazy, you know. This would be very well kept and it wouldn't cover the sign up either, so maybe just a couple of little green ferns just poking up here and there around the rides, and then we're just neatening up the back of the sign a little bit. Still not 100% sure what to do here, although okay, this is really complicated. I'm recording this bit after I recorded the next bit, but the next bit is coming after this bit, so I know for a fact that in a minute I'm going to come up with a good idea for this, which is a bit weird. I'm also going to go on a bit of a rant, so I'll warn you now, this is about as happy as I'm going to sound in this video, because the next bit is me going yeah, so get ready for that, won't you? So here we go, tidying up the back of the sign there, just to kind of neaten it up, but we will do something with that. End up pretty happy with how it works, just need a few of the barriers here to make the peeps ignore it and go around it and stuff like that. And also we're trying to get them to stop coming down here to go to the shop. I end up just getting rid of the shop. And here it is. So eventually we decided, as you see in the time-lapse bit, that we went for Mission to Mun. A few people suggested it, a few people suggested something similar. I think it's worked out really quite nicely, and we've gone for the Kerbal logo there. As I said in the first bit, Rocket's a little big, but you know, I think it's pretty close. Anyway, we haven't really done that much more than this, to be honest with you. I've done a little bit of work, and the main reason I wanted to put this out is because I wanted to chat a little bit about how the stuff works on this channel and how my head works and stuff like that. So a video doesn't go by. Every single video I put out, pretty much exclusively every single video I put out, there will be a comment or two on it saying, where's Geekism Studios? Geekism Studios, it's been 3 weeks. And some of them are they're quite rude. They're just Geekism Studios in capital letters or something like that. And quite frankly, I find it really disappointing. The issue is that I have with these sort of games is they're quite tough to constantly be creative in, and sometimes you get little dry spots. And one of the reasons I started Geekism Studios, as well as just to sort of try out the studios pack, because I knew a lot of it wouldn't fit into Pinewood, was that a change is as good as a rest. And I've had a few times now in Planet Coaster where I haven't had the creative juices flowing like I need them to create something. So I've just took a break from it, and obviously the channel suffers, and more importantly, the fans want to see it, and that's why most of you are here. It's just sort of seeing me be creative. Look at that, we've got a lot of work to do. So I started Geekism Studios as a way of sort of, if Pinewood was getting a bit on top of me, or I was sort of having enough of building to that small vintage scale, I would come over to here and build something a bit more crazy and big like we've got here, and then vice versa. If I was struggling to kind of be a bit crazy and big, I would go back over to Pinewood, and it has been a kind of Pinewood month. One, partly because of the vintage DLC pack is much more suited to that park, but also I've just been really sort of invigorated in sort of going back and redoing some of my older work and making it look a lot better, I think so anyway. And it's so disheartening to to spend so much time and effort on Pinewood Hills videos or any videos for that matter and put them out and be really proud of them just for the comments to be Geekism Studios. And so I'm here in Geekism Studios, and I've done this sign, and I'm quite happy with the sign actually how it's turned out. This is a planter here, a new planter, so there's a little bit of foliage in there, but I don't want to go crazy because obviously the sign would be relatively manicured, but a few little bit of leaves I think will help that on. And then I've done a bit of work in the entrance as well, but to be honest with you, I'm not really happy with it, and I've kind of forced myself to come here to make something for you because I kind of want to show you the problem is that if I'm not really feeling it, then I'm not really happy with the work I've done, and I think I could do better. Although this is the second iteration. I had 2 goes at this, and I'm not too fussed about how this has turned out. I think this is looking okay, but I haven't really got that much done because I just really struggle to sort of turn that on, basically, to turn on the tap. And sometimes I'll have a month where all I can do is build in here and love it and build loads, and then other times I'll go for a few weeks where I just haven't really got the energy or the ability. So that's where I am at the minute. Anyway, let's have a little walk through what we've got here. We've got the ride sign that we're using all over the place for here as well. And then here we've got an entrance. This is based on the Rip Ride Rocket entrance at Universal Studios. So that's their sort of big coaster. So I thought, well, our big coaster can kind of match it. And it's sort of really plain and very sort of serviceable as opposed to anything else. So I think it looks quite good, though. It looks like a Studios Park kind of thing. The theming of these places all comes mostly interiors and signage and things like that. All this sort of stuff is pretty sort of standard, really. So we've got some signs here, safety rules about not being able to take things on and don't go on if you feel dizziness and things like that. And then the wait time, I've gone for quite a realistic wait time of 2 hours. And then we've got an entrance and what we're calling Speedy Pass, which is the fast pass. Now this does actually work. I've actually turned up the cost of these rides to be astronomical because the queues are just getting ridiculous and everyone's getting really annoyed. So now you'll see a lot of people walk away because it's something like $50 to go on this now. But some people will go on. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, sorry, I've just gone through the metal detector. This is another thing I noticed a lot of new parks are doing now, a lot of the bigger parks especially. They're having metal detectors onto coasters to make sure that you're not taking things like cameras and what have you on there. So we've now got metal detectors going in here as well. Like I say, this Speedy Pass does work, although it's not an entrance here. I've had to be a little bit clever with this, and I'll come out of Tejicam in a minute and show you that in a moment. And then we've got a staff member here, just because you normally have a few staff around the gate, really, not just on his own, and then a few buggies and a few buggies dumped over this side as well, and we're up on the sign. Nice. There's a good shot of the lockers. So I've repurposed these from the ones we built in Pinewood. Again, I mentioned in a recent Pinewood video that I quite like this sort of rental here, lockers rental here sign, and I thought that we could use that and the colouring of the lockers a little bit as a sort of like a brand make almost. So as a bit of a lore tie-in between the two parks, this is what we've got now. Then we've got the lockers companies the same across both. Let me come out of this so we can have a bit of a better look, and I'll just do that. There we go. So yeah, here we go. We've got the lockers here. They come off the main path. They're not usable. I mean, you could put some ATMs in there to get the odd person go over, but for the most part, I don't really mind it like that. And then what it does is also neatens up at the back of this area here. So we have a priority queue that goes around and basically cuts out this cattle pen. I only really wanted it because I want the entrance here and I want it to occasionally actually work. But like I say, this isn't the entrance. The priority queue basically cuts out the queue in this game. So you have to join it at 2 points of the queue. So it actually joins here. Okay, so here's where it joins. Alright, and then so people who have got Speedy Pass will come in through here, and then they'll turn right and they'll actually walk through this gate, okay, and then they'll go down here. In fact, if I just get rid of this, is probably the easiest way of showing you, isn't it? Let's have a look. This one, there we go. And that one. You can see, there we go. You can see that it actually nips through here, you see. So all this entrance here is just for show. Okay, and what actually happens is they come round here. So what we do need to do, actually thinking about it, is we have another one of those there, don't we? There we go. Now this pavement will carry on up as well to keep covering the queue line, and all this treeage is just temporary, just to give me an idea, because I do want to get some of the tropical trees in here that we just don't get to use in Pinewood. So this is a very hot place. So we've got a lot of palms and a lot of like stuff that's sort of a are these ones called? I forget. But definitely stuff that we wouldn't be able to use in other places. So lots of sort of very rich sort of hardy ferns and palms and things like that. So there we go. I actually quite like how this has turned out now. We've got quite a nice little run. The exit's still a little funky. They come around the back of the sign, so I'm still trying to figure out what to do here. May well have that come shorter this way and have some foliage behind this one. In fact, yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. So what we'll do is as you come away from here... Oops, was that all one piece? Ew, that's gross. Okay. Might have to redo this, but what we'll do now is instead we'll have the... there we go, there. We'll have that come off there like this. And you have to come right back inside. And it's a pretty hefty queue to get back here, but it's okay because that'll bring you... So you're sort of looking at the right edge, which I think will work pretty well. Come on, anybody want to join up there for us? Yeah, that'll do, won't it? Nope. Oh my god, what is happening here? Oh, there you go, something like that. Yeah, I'll have to have a little play with that. Looks like we're going to have to redo this bit of path. But there we go, now we can have this as as like a little forested area, and it'll cap the sign off quite nicely. So yeah, that's a good idea, and then you'll just sort of see this come out the trees. Yeah, alright, there we'll do that then. So there you go. See, something as simple as that sometimes can spark creativity and make me want to jump in and do stuff, and I don't want this to be a negative video, but I just want to kind of say that if a series doesn't turn up for a while, there's a reason for it, and I know it's not there. I don't just kind of forget that I was playing a game. So there's really no need to constantly keep asking in other videos where something is. If you want to come and have a chat on Discord or on Twitter and kind of see where I am with stuff, you're more than welcome to. I try and be very open about where the channel's going and what I'm trying to do with the channel, but just sort of going onto other videos and saying Geekism Studios, it isn't going to help, because the reason I'm not playing this game is because I don't think I can play it well enough. I don't think I can play it good enough, okay? So at the moment I've been really happy with the stuff I've done in Pinewood, so we've been having a couple of Pinewoods a week as opposed to once a week, okay? Eventually once we wrap up that vintage area, I might struggle with Pinewood for a little bit. I might come over here and have a couple of weeks over here, okay? Or do you know what? Planet Coaster may have to take a backseat completely for a couple of weeks and I just play some more sort of management games like what we got at the minute, Depraved and 2 Point, Unfortunately, when you play creative games like this, sometimes it isn't just going in and shooting up and banging up places. You've got to have the mindset right to do it, and I said this in the Pinewood video I was doing recently. I don't want to just make stuff for the sake of getting a video out knowing that it's got Planet Coaster on the front of it and it'll get a few thousand views. I want to make stuff that I'm proud of and that you guys will really enjoy. So I really hope you appreciate that, and this doesn't sound just like a rant, and I've got a feeling it sounds like a rant, and I apologise if it does. But you know what? I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. I like the sign, how people like Mass Bandit and SP Ridley do all those things with the baubles and stuff. I don't know. This is still a bit jank. I mean, look at that for a bee. Woof. But you know what? It looks a little bit like the one for the game, and I'm happy enough with it. And it's nice, and it's big, and it's oversized, and it's sort of thing you'd come and have your photo taken in front of, and it's exactly right for a studios park, I think. And they're the same as the Subnautica, big and garish, and that's exactly the sort of thing we're looking for. Cool. Right, thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it, even though it has been a bit of a ranty ramble from me. If you have, please give us a like. It really does help out the channel. And if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Any thoughts, queries, or suggestions, you can pop them down in the comments. If you fancy a chat, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Jonty Sparrow. If you'd like to join in with the Geekism community, you can do so over on our Geekism Discord server. You'll find the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.